Okay, we're starting Masechta Chullin, Daf Nun Ches Amud Aleph. We're starting from Nun Zayin on the base, the last line. Okay, Handsome is looking. Okay, very good. Let's get started. Okay. Amima had said, Hani Beyed de Treifa, the first batch of eggs of a chicken that laid eggs, right? But it had its first batch, and then it got slammed or hurt by another animal, so it became treif. So what happens with the eggs? Says the Gemara, Shichala Kama Asira. That first batch is Asr. You know why it's Asr? Because the first batch, the first words on the top. First, you need a second. So being that it's the first batch and it got hit, the chicken got bitten, it became treif in the middle, so the eggs are part of the chicken. We have a saying that uba yedach imai. That the uba is the part of the thigh of the mother. If the mother got hit and became treif, it's
like when you showed the behavior, the Iber is inside.
The Iber is inside. But here the Iber was part of the treif, because when it became treif, the Iber was in it, and the Iber is part of the thigh of the animal. But what's if we had a second batch of eggs if there was already treif? Says you want to have a lazy episode. Now it's coming from a treifa. You're right. That's 50%, but the other 50% came from the zachar. So it's chatzi mutter. So then it's going to be mutter. Then it's mutter. Eisei Ravashi Ramema. Ravashi is Tashad Ramema. Beshavin. Rav Elazar Chacham both agree. Bebeyas treif. They only argue by a vlad of a behema. Here we're talking about the eggs of a chicken. So by a vlad of behema, there's a machlekes if it's aser or mutter. But by beyas treifa, but when we're dealing with the batch of eggs of a chicken, everybody agrees asura. It's aser because it was raised be'isur. Says the Gemara. So we just said that if they became treif, it got pregnant, it had eggs. So we said it's going to be mutter because chatzi comes from the zacha, which is mutter, and chatzi comes from the mother, which is a treifa. So we made it mutter. But here we said, according to everybody, it's treif. So there it's talking about the father wasn't involved. Hasam b'desafta miyara. There, the way she made the eggs hatch, she sat on it together, and the earth together with her on it warmed it up. So why did you have to answer that there was no zachar involved, and that's why it was us? Say it was the first batch. She had a first batch of eggs while she was kosher, and then she became treif, and the eggs became treif with it, and the eggs are part of the thigh of the mother, and the eggs are treif. Says the Gemara, if so, if that was the case, then the Gemara says, it says godly raised. It shouldn't have said raised between a treifa. It should have said gamra. Then the chatchila wasn't treif, and the gamra, but it finished be'isur. That's how it should be violated. That should have been the girsa. From this that it says godla, it was raised. That means from the beginning of the eggs being hatched, it was already hatched while the chicken was a treifa. Says Gemara, only this that we learned of a rice of a vlad treifa. Now we're talking about a vlad of a behema, not of a chicken.
Vlad is an egg?
A child of a baby of a behema. Eggs are the child of the chickens. A vlad of a behema. So Gemara treifa is treif. So the Gemara, Rabbi Elazar says, Lo yikav l'gabal hamizbeach. A vlad that comes from a behema treifa is treif, and it should not be sacrificed on the mizbeach. Rabbi Yeshua says yikav. He should sacrifice on the mizbeach. What are they arguing about? Shenitefa, that it first became treif, and then it became pregnant if there was treif. Rabbi Elazar says that side is zachar and his side in the cave, and the cave is like treif. So whatever comes out of a treif animal is treif. But since there was a mixture of the zachar, 50% was from kosher, from mutter. So therefore he says So Rabbi Lezer says it doesn't make a difference. It's
50% from the male?
50% from the male. Because they fertilized the egg and it was part of the half of the Ibur. So according to Rabbi Lezer, it doesn't matter. It's still awesome. Anything that comes out of a treif is treif. Rabbi Yeshua says a great mutter. Rabbi Yeshua says since there's half that is mutter, the zacha, which is kasha, so it's going to be mutter. In fact, if so, why'd you have to say an argument when a gay is sacrificing on the Mizbeach? Talk about regular people. Regular people eating the kashas of regular people, if it's mutter or not. It's a machlekes. If it's treif or not. Says to let you know the strength of Rabbi Yeshua that he said it's mutter. It's not only mutter for simple people, for regular that you can eat it, for even to put on the mizbeach, and we're not going to consider it as a mum. Right? It's stronger. In fact, you might have lived to go by let them argue by hedget. To tell us how severe, according to Rabbi Lezer, the Isa is that the Isa is even to hedget. I mean, you want to koyach the koyach of making a mutter is better. Why? Let's see if you can understand. It'll be very simple. When it comes to be machmeh, you can even be machmeh misafik. Oh, my father says the alam the machmeh. There was a dog. There was shilas too. There was no rub. And if you showed the chicken to the dog, and if he would bark, you knew it was treif. They always barked. They saw a chicken. So for treif, you can make treif even if it's not treif, even if it's a safik. When it comes to make something mutter, you have to be 100%. So koich that adif. You can't play with koich that You can't be matter something that's treif. You can make something that's mutter treif. You can always be matter. It's a safik. It's a safik. It's treif. That's easy. To make something mutter is the kunst to make time.
That's to find the right rabbi for that.
Okay, but it's also it has to be a rabbi who's very knowledgeable that he's able to come out with a heter. Okay, it's easy to be machmeh. Ravacha. So very good. You heard what he said. You don't have to be a rabbi to be machmeh. Okay, says the Gemara. Rav Acha suffered like Rav Ach Rabbi Yaakov. Rav Acha held like Rav Ach Rabbi Yaakov. Umasni law. What does that mean? So he said that we had an argument before. When does an animal? What's the simon for an animal being treif? So one of the Mandarim said one of the simonim is that it can't last for 12 months. Another one said that it cannot give birth. But the other Mandarim says no, a treif could give birth. So he's bringing down Rav Acha holds like Rav Ach Rabbi Yaakov that said before that a treif could give birth. Okay, and therefore he learns his din like a mema, like we said before. He says the treifa, since it could give birth, and we're talking about the bayim that happened that were created after it became treif. So since it's chatzi, that's why it's going to be mutter. But Ravina holds no. If a chicken that's treif cannot give birth. So how does he learn this difference between the eggs that were before it became treif and the eggs that came after it became treif? There's no eggs coming after the treif. So he says it can't give birth. So this is how he's going to learn it. Amema said, Hani Bey the suffix treifa. These eggs, which is a suffix, we don't know if it was before or it happened after. The Shichala Kama, we're all talking about the first batch that happened after the suffix. Okay? Mashina Lahu. So we wait and we see what will happen with this first batch. It's a suffix if it's a treifa or not. How do you tell if it's a treifa or not? If it gives birth weiter. If it's going to hatch another batch of eggs, Sharon, then the first eggs is no more suffix, it's mutter. Because how did it hatch? Obviously that it hatched, it's not treif.
They hatch every single day.
He says it cannot hatch eggs.
But you see the eggs, the second time.
No, we're talking the second time, how'd she have another batch of eggs after she got hit?
Yeah.
Also, from that some that she had another batch of eggs, is a raya that she's not a treif. If she was a taifa, she wouldn't have eggs.
Oh, but the second day she had.
But you don't have to
sitting
write.
on the eggs.
That was the other shot before. Here, no, here was saying that it cannot have eggs. So here we're not sure what these eggs are they treif or not. Is the chicken a treif or not? So we wait. If it gives off another
You don't
batch
have
of
to wait
eggs,
long on a chicken. Every
not
day
long.
they give
Right. So then you know it's shayah v'iloi, and if it doesn't hatch anymore, so you know that batch of eggs is also. Ravashi is the kasha Rav on Ravashi's. I'm sorry, he asked on Amema what Amema just said now. It says Rav Yeshua, both agree with Beya, treif shasura. If it's eggs of a chicken, it's treif, and it's awesome. Because it was raised by Isa.
It was also already.
It was raised by Isa. So this is steer to what
It was
Amema.
not there for raised. The eggs was raised.
No, now we're going back to the first shot. That it could give birth. A treif could give birth. And we said these eggs that happen, so later is going to be mutter. So he says, why is it going to be? That's what we said. It's going to be mutter because that was their goyim. But we see Ravashi said we brought that Ravashi brought from a brayso that side of Elazar, side of Yeshua say when it comes to egg of a oif, it's usur
The whole time.
because it was raised by Isa. It was raised. That means it happened. It happened after when it was a treifa, and then it hatched eggs. And we said before, Amema said before that it's kosher, and here he's saying treifa. Amalei husband the shichala kama. There it's talking about no, it was the eggs before it was the eggs that was hatched before it was it became treif, and then it became a treif together with the eggs. Says you want to? Well, how could you say that was the pshat in Cain? If so, why does it say Gadol was raised? Raised means that it started to raise if there was treif. Gomra should have said it finished, and it finished its isa when it was treif, but it was born good. You're saying it should, that when it was hatched, everything was good, and it became treif together with the chicken later. But you're saying, but the lashon of the Mishnah is Gadol that it. Only after it was treif, it was raised as a treifa. What do you mean? Says you're right. Ni gomer. You have to say it wasn't raised as a treifa. It means that to begin with, the chicken, the eggs was good, was kosher with the chicken, and then it got slammed or bitten, and it became treif. And that's the lashon of the Mishnah. It's not gadol, it's gomer. Finished by Yisrael. Says the Tanan. Only this that we learned in the brayso. The Tanya we learned in the brayso. Vlad reifa, a Vlad meaning baby of a behema. Rabbi Lazar, you shouldn't sacrifice in his bayach. Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Yeshua says you should sacrifice. What are they arguing about? Kishe ibra v'lavsev nitrifa. First it was pregnant and the behema was all right. And then while it was pregnant, it got slammed or bitten by a snake or whatever, and it became treif. Rabbi Lezer says, listen, the baby is part of the thigh of the mother. As the mother became treif, the baby became treif. Rabbi Yeshua says, no, the baby is not part of the thigh. It's a separate thing. Why is it a separate thing? How is it different than eggs? Because the eggs are connected to the sinews, so it's like it's always one. It's always one. But the uber of a behema, it's the umbilical cord that connects it. That's all, not anything else. So it's two separate mitziyusim. That's why he says lav yarachima. The Gemara is going to say it in a minute. In fact, you want to yachi adam ifligi live gavay live gavay. Why do you have to say machlekes by kachim if you're allowed to put it on the mizbeach or not? Say the machlekes by hadyatim if it's treif or not. That if a regular person can eat it or not, like we said before. And the Gemara the yacha keichad Rabbi Yeshua to let you know the strength of Rabbi Yeshua that he's mater the baby even by hadyatim, even by the Beis Hamikdash you can sacrifice it. There's no blemish whatsoever. Yep. In fact, you let us argue by a hedyot. And let us know the strength of the Isur, that the Isur is also applicable to a regular hedyot. So you want to koich the heter, other way, like we said before, the koich of heter is better. And we explained before what it means, why it is. Koich the heter, there has to be a vada in order to be mater. You have to know exactly what the din is. So that you want to on this that we said in the Braisa, but everybody agrees vadai bebeis treifa shasura. When it comes to the eggs, not a vladabema. By a vladabema, you have a chloikis if it's part of the mother or not. But by eggs, everybody will agree it's asur by the shalchan kama by the first batch.
It's more strict than
It's
the
more
other one?
strict because eggs is not just a umbilical cord. It's not separate.
Right.
It's my time. And what's the reason? Because kufi, it's connected.
One part. Yeah.
It's connected to the sinews. Also, the eggs. If you look, it's mamish one of the goof. So if the goof, the mother goof gets treif, the eggs are treif. Finished. The halacha is bezacha. When it comes to a male, kol shneim asar chodesh is mutem if it goes through 12 months. Because then it's not a treif.
Can't learn anything out from a baby that's in a mother's stomach and you shechni. You can eat the baby without shechni because it's one thing.
No, it is one thing, but that's been a gay shchita if it's not treif. But if it's treif, it's going to be treif.
It's treif, anyway.
Treif, right? But in a keva, how long does it take that it should be treif? Kol she'ena yaledas, as long as it
Wasn't born.
can give birth. But if it gives birth within the 12 months, you don't have to wait 12 months. If the chicken gives up to 12 months, you have to wait for B'dika to know if it's treif or not. You have to wait if it's going to survive 12 months. But if it's the nekeva
She had before.
and she gives birth, then that's the sin that she's not treif. You don't have to wait the 12 months. She gave birth.
She's healthy.
She's healthy. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Rav Huna said, "Kol beya she'ein bo etzem." Any creation that doesn't have a bone, right, like insects or worms, she cannot survive 12 months. Papa said, "Shmami noben Rav Huna." We have a raya from the words of Rav Huna that we can learn the halacha. Hadam Shmuel. This that Shmuel said, kishus, cucumbers, shehisliya be'ibeha, that were faverm, that were wormed up while it was still connected to the ground. Asur, it's asur. Why? Because that's called hasheretz al ha'aretz. It's still part of the earth, even though it's in the fruit, the worms. But if the fruit is connected to the ground, it's still called sheretz ha'aretz. Said to you, but honey, here we'll have a beautiful halacha. Honey tamid kado. These dates that were faverm, that were wormed up in a jug, but it was labasat hesa yachin shata shaya. It was these worms. We found live worms 12 months after it was cut off from the ground. Now worms cannot survive for 12 months. Obviously, these worms are after it was cut off.
What's inside?
Yeah, so those worms are not sheretz al haaretz. You can eat it if you like worms.
That's like fish has the worms inside.
Yes, it's like
Yeah,
correct.
but there's not worms from the ground. They're different things that work.
But you're right. This is not called worms from the ground either. Once 12 months went by and you see live worms, it's not from the ground. Only when it was attached, and there you found worms, then you can say it's part of the ground. You took it off and you pickled it or whatever, and you had it for 12 months, there wouldn't have been live worms there for 12 months from the beginning. So it had to be from the fruit itself. That's not ala arts, and that you can eat. Zag the Yimada.
Not that you want 'em.
Me, yeah, in fact, Yimada, Me'ika. Is there, oh, I'm sorry. Says the Labasa, okay, here we go. It says the Yimada, Amalei, Amarav, Rav said, Leis Baka Bar Yoima, there's a gnat which bites like a hornet, very strong bite, that doesn't live a day. There's no baka that can live a day. Leis Didva Bashata, and there's no fly that can live for a year. Amalei Apapa Leabaya. Apapa asked Abaya, how many inchi people say, Shev Shni, Imir Baksami Baka? 7 years, the female hornet or female gnat bickers and fights with the husband. Because she says to him, you saw this person from the name of Chuzah, they lived in the luxury way. And he was swimming, and he came out of the water, and he put on his sheets around his body, and he sat down to rest. And then came the baka, the hornet, the gnat, and he started to suck some blood. The lawyer, you didn't tell me that you sucking some blood. I wanted some blood too. So this Masha says that you think she's a nice person and he's the evil one. She sucks blood. Bloodsucker.
Observers.
Ja, aber sie ist ein Bloodsucker. Aber nicht da, guck wie schlecht sie ist. Als Jana, du vergisst nicht. Also du
You
nimmst
can even
allein.
learn marriage stuff from.
So here you
that.
learn how. Here you're gonna see that. Look, you can go through your life, and it's such a short life. He says. Yeah.
The other one suffer. I don't feel suffering. Don't make nobody else suffer.
So over here they were fighting. Here, look what it says. For Abalei, so the Gemara says it. I'm going to tell you the end of my show. Abaye says back, the time according to your reasoning. So you say here, you see, he lives for 7 years. For 7 years they're bickering, and we said doesn't even leave one day. So he says, according to your reasoning, this that people are accustomed to saying, Shitin money parzelo tolu leilevaka bikursene. The hammer of the bite of this hornet, it weighs so much, like 60 mana of iron. It's like it doesn't even make sense. Like the mother, how's that possible? Is that possible? You go for Kamabi. How much does the little hornet weigh?
Right, yeah.
You tell me its bite is like
the gnat.
The gnat. It bites like a hornet. It says,
it's
it's like a fly. That bites like a hornet. So he's saying,
That means it's even smaller than a hornet.
oh, okay. He wants to bring out. How could it be such a heavy bite? It's itself weighs
It's
nothing.
like when a schlag gives
It's a sting, a big sting. Yeah. Says the Gemara. What does it mean? Ella b'money to do. It means according to its weight. Every person relative to him, that's called money.
Right.
So he says, Gemara, you're talking about relative. How can that be to do? Here also, when we spoke about 7
can
years.
carry 20 times its
But,
weight, but it weighs so it's picking up a piece of bread. It's impressive. For the ant, but
Right. And here also, when it comes to the years, it goes according to the years like a dog. There's 10 years, 120 years, right? So a year, depending. Here, the whole
7.5
life.
years is really one day.
So one day is like 120 years. So they're fighting, they come down to this world. What are you coming? You have 1 day to live. You're fighting the whole life. You have to know not to fight. You have to enjoy life a little bit without fighting. Anyway, here it says about a day. You know, by Hashem, by us, 1,000 years is like a day by Hashem. Right? So you know, there was a person that he wasn't doing well. He told Hashem, just lend me $1 million for 1 day of yours. It's 1,000 years, so we have $1 million for 1,000 years. They just said, no problem. Wait a minute. Wait a day. Wait 1,000 years. Okay.
Well, wait 1,000 years.
Zag Yimar Tnan Hasam. We learned there in Bcheres. Behema balas chamish raglayim. A behemoth that has 5 legs. Or it only has 3 legs. Harei mum. That's a mum, and you cannot put it on the mizbeach. We did not learn. The only time it's only called a mum and not treif if it's the front legs. The front legs.
But not up front.
The head. But if it's the back legs and 1 leg is missing, or there's 1 extra leg, treifa namavia. It's also called a treifa. My time. What's the reason? Kol yesek kanathal gami. Anything that's extra, it's like not only the extra is missing, even one of them that's normal is also missing. Why? Because when you have 1 extra, Rashi brings down, and also the Yeshayim, when you have 1 extra, that 1 extra is taking away chayis from the normal 4th foot,
And they have for more strength.
because it's partially weakening the whole 4th foot. So between the two, they both don't really have any strength. So it's as if they're missing 2 and there's only 3 legs. So that's a mum. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. There was this chaya, or behema, that had 2 intestines. But this was such an intestine that was called Sanya Dive. You remember that the lions and the bears hated. They wouldn't touch it. They'd stay away from it. Anyway, I see Avino. It was abnormal. 2 intestines. With from the Avuna. And the Avuna, it was treif. They made it treif because of the din of Avuna. He says, anything that's extra is kiyesa. It's like extra. Zamum. But if the stomachs were attached, meaning that they poured from one to another, so it's like one stomach,
Like
and
an
it's
alligator.
yeah, we had it before, so it's ksheda. If it goes, it's really considered as one. Like 2 blisters, but it's really collected. If it goes through and through, it's not a problem. There was this tube of meat, extra meat. It went out from the second to the third stomach. Somebody Ravashi want to make a tape. Says these chayas that go in the swamp area, in the wald, in the forest, they have this extra tube, and don't make it treif. It's normal. Ahu Govsa says Gemara, there was another animal that had this tube, but it went. It didn't go from the second to the third. It went from the first to the second stomach. That extra tube of skin. Some Maravashi want to make kosher. What do you? You take one needle and you web one. You make everything in one web. You can't. By trade, we said each limb is different halachas. You can't compare one to the other. Hey, wherever we learn it's normal, that's normal, and it's kosher.
Here's not normal.
Yeah, but hey, we didn't learn that it's normal. We didn't learn it's normal, so it's taif. Hey, Nasan Bashila Tabchai the Tzipori. The Nasan Bashila was the head of the shachtim of chickens. He testified before Rabbi. Al Shnei Bnei Ma'ayin Hayetzmin Abahem Ke'achad. On 2 stomachs from that came out of the behemoth.
But he was a sheikh on
Not everything. It seems Rosh Hashanah, but it seems he knew about behemoths as well. Yeah. She treifu connect the behemoth. He said it's treif, and he said in the case of Aif, it's going to be shade if it has these 2 stomachs. What these words said, when it comes out from 2 different places. But if they come at the end, they come out through one place. The mist comes out from these 2 stomachs. It comes the mist. How do you say the waste comes out from one place? The and it comes so close that it's only 1 finger between the 2 stomachs where it's coming out from. Shade it's kosher. Zog the Gemara brings a machlekes in this Indian. Pligi bar Avami Ravasi. Chadama hu dehad. One says no. The only time it's going to be kosher if they at the end when it comes out they're mixed together. These 2 stomachs when the waste comes out they're mixed together
at one time.
At one time. That's what it means that they're connected like only one finger away. So when it comes out, it comes out in the same place. Ksheda. I just said only if it's mixed in one place. And one said no. Even if it doesn't mix together, it's still going to be kosher. Says it makes sense according to the one that says that at the end they come out from the same place. That's why we learn only if it comes at the end to the size of a finger. He said even if it doesn't come out mixed together, what do you care? Till I saw you. What do you need an expert? You're saying it doesn't have to come out. Yeah, for what? I mean, it's not coming out in the same place. Says you want to know, it means right at the end, right before it comes out. It's only an espa away, and they do come out in the same place. Rabbi Yehuda im nitla noitza. And now there's 2 kinds of feathers. There's the big feathers, and then there's tiny little feathers that are mamish on the skin that keeps the skin warm. So if that noitza was taken off, the down, yes, that's called the down. It's psula because it's considered with no skin.
By the countries, it's a feather.
If you take off the mamish the dinik feathers, then it's right. Pulcha. Yes, similar lotion. So anyway, so he says over here that it's considered as a skinned animal because the animal cannot survive without those little feathers. So it's psula. Rabbi Yishmael said one thing. Rabbi Yehuda, what we said before, that he says if you remove those little pieces of skin, it's as if the whole animal is skin. And we said it's skinned animals, straight. And Rabbi Yishmael, what do we find? Rabbi Yishmael says the same thing. It's not. Rabbi Yishmael, it's not office. It says if somebody has in mind by a carbon, by malika, he's shachting a chicken, to eat it after a lot of time. He wants the chicken for next week's bar mitzvah. He's going to eat it then.
It's pickle.
That's pickle. He had in mind. He's supposed to do it now. Oh, yeah, he's saving it for the bar mitzvah, for the bris that might happen 8 days from now. No, such a thing. That's pickle. So what did we say? That if he had a mind, but he didn't have a kezayis, he says he has a mind for this piece of chicken,
right,
but only together with those little feathers did it make it to a kezayis.
No feathers.
Those didn't get feathers. He says it's mitzaref. So you see, it's not considered as a psul. You see, it's considered as skin. Amarava dimalahi. He says maybe it's not so. They're not.
fast.
1 second. Rabbi Yehuda said that it's the whole skin. 1 second. So here also, Shemalak Sachatas, Antira Kizayis, and he counted it together with the skin. It's considered as pigul that passes the chatas. Okay, so you see, Rabbi Yishmael considers the little feathers like skin. And if you take off the little feathers, because if it wasn't considered as skin, then it wouldn't be mitzvah. So he holds exactly like Rabbi Yehuda, it's like skin. And if you take it off, it's treif. Okay. Perhaps it's not so. It could be they're arguing. Ad kam we come Rabbi Yehuda hacha. Here, Rabbi Yehuda said, why is it considered treif? Because only with the gate to treif, because the lake can be the magen alaya. There's nothing to protect it from the cold. So therefore, it's as if it's a skin animal. But with the gate to be to pigul, he says karabanas fiddle. He says it's not going to be mitzvah to gazayis. Why? Because it's not fit to eat it. It's disgusting. Who eats feathers? Okay, and we can say Rabbi Yishmael, who says that it is pigul, el-alinian pigul, ipguli. Only with the gate to pigul, he says it's going to be pigul because he says the little feathers are yum. You can eat it. I don't know if it's yum, but he says it's right lachila.
Softer, doesn't have that all.
So yeah, maybe it's good. It goes together like a spice.
You get like clean wings that got little feathers on them. We eat that.
Okay. But when it comes to treifa, I couldn't like making. By treifa, we're going to say it's treif. He says because it's not protected by the little feathers. So you can't prove either way that they're arguing or not. It says the Mishnah, Achuzas Adam, behemoth that had extra dam, Vamushenes, or it's smoked, Vamtsunenes, or it became cold, it became sick because of the cold, Shachla Hadufni, or ate poison, which is only poisonous for behemoth. A behemoth that eats chocolate, behemoths that eat chocolate, they die right away. A person that eats chocolate, he gets more strength. It's different. We're talking about the behemoth ate something that some of us, Shachla
Has a low sugar. Chocolate.
Not by behemoth, by us. The Shachla Tanagal, or ate the waste of a Tanagal, or Shashasas Mayim Rabin, or Mayim Haroim, or it drank water that wasn't covered. And it could be that a snake put in its poison in the water. Shade its kasha. If it ate poison, or nachash bit it, I'm going to have to go over this mission tonight.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's because it's a new Gemara. Okay.